What's up, guys? Welcome to the episode 2 of the Catching Fire podcast. I'm Cameron.
I'm Travis.
I'm Parker.
In the last episode, we talked about the 8 Western Conference playoff teams. So obviously today we're going to be talking about the 8 Eastern Conference playoff teams and what's next up for them. Today we're going to be starting with the Washington Wizards, and the question I have is, how do you make the most out of the Bradley Beal-Russell Westbrook tandem?
Well, to me, first, obviously they're very, I guess you could say, top heavy. Because let me go to their team real quick. Their cap space. Wizards. They have a $41 million contract. Goes up to $47 in 2022.
Is that Russ?
That's Russ. 28, 34, and 37 with Bradley Beal. $15 million gets up to $17 million with Davis Bertans. And then the rest of those are single digits. I mean, they have to have some kind of salary. They have room in the salary cap.
So it seems like the norm in the NBA is to have 3 max slots. That's kind of normal. Because when you look at
star players, yeah.
when you look at the Suns, CP3 max, Devin Booker max, DeAndre Ayton's going to get a max. And so
Bucks, Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton.
Yeah, you see that, and you see those teams succeed. So for the Wizards, why wouldn't you try to copy that? So they have Russell Westbrook, and they have DeMar DeRozan, Bradley Beal, and you look in free agency and you see DeMar DeRozan, and you look at the trade market and you see Kristaps struggling in Dallas, and you wonder, should they go after DeMar? Should they try to trade for KP?
I'm not big on DeMar. I mean, I think you after KP. I think KP has so much uprise. Like, I think it's kind of like stocks. Like, he's down now, but I guarantee you if he gets on a new
Get him out
team,
of Dallas,
but
he'll be better.
You put him on a team with Bradley Beal and Russell Westbrook, is his shots really going to go up? So, I mean, I guess you could get Kristaps, but I'm looking for more of a defensive player when it comes to that position. At post, which they have Thomas Bryant, but Thomas Bryant, you know, you can get
if they want to stop Joel Embiid in the East, you got to
Thomas Bryant's
have somebody.
They really can't put a lot together. What about Denny? I can't say that last name.
Denny Avdia.
I mean, do we give him more time? He had one season he's had.
One season.
With a team like them, he can't touch
one season and he already has an injury.
I mean, I know it's extremely early, but you trade him and maybe a pick and maybe one other young asset, and you can get some pretty decent player. I mean, you can get a pretty good.
You can definitely, for that package, you can definitely snag KP.
KP, yeah, for sure.
You can 100% do that.
What would it take to get Karl Anthony Towns? If he's even up, because I know
Davis Bertans, Rui Hachimura, Denny Avdia, and a pick or two.
I mean, honestly,
and I think the Timberwolves bite on that trade.
Yeah, 100%. I think Rui Hachimura, he's really good. I really like him. When it comes to to how young their team is, they have Gafford, 22 years old. They have Danny, 20 years old. They have Rui Hachimura, 23 years old. Bradley Beal is 27. Then you got Russ at 32. I mean, I guess in this situation right now, they're building the younger stars, but they're keeping them in the playoffs. I guess it's if they want to make that next step to be a more elite team and get rid of those possibly young good players, or do they want to take it back saying, hey, you can't win a championship with Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal? Which to me, I think that's the case. I don't think they win anything with them.
And they have a coaching change. And I want to say Scott Brooks was Bradley Beal's only coach. So Bradley Beal doesn't know anything different. So if you get a defensive-minded coach and a good team-centered system, I think that the Wizards could be more than a play-in team.
You think so?
Now, much more than that, I don't know. And that's barring they trade for KP or they sign DeMar.
Yeah.
I don't think Russell Westbrook and Bradley Beal alone. I know they went off at the end of the season. They were the hottest team in basketball. They were like 10-2 in their last 12. Or something like that.
Yeah,
they were good. They were really good. But the problem is the defense. Like, you're starting a non-defender in Russell Westbrook, a non-defender in Bradley Beal,
I'd say Russell Westbrook is a defender when he wants to be. But
a non-defender in Davis Bertans.
Yeah, he has the tools to be a defender.
Yeah.
When you look at they're young in some aspects.
But their young players aren't going to develop.
Yeah, I think Roy Archimar. I think if he was on a team where he could, I think he'd be really good. Denny hasn't had enough time to me. I've got high hopes on Denver Gaffer too. Like all these players are like decent players could be in my mind.
I just think that with that 9th pick in the draft, they looked at the opportunity to snag Denny, and they just jumped on his talent. That I fully believe they never scouted him.
Yeah,
They didn't expect him to fall.
Yeah,
Like,
100%. Well, I mean, I honestly,
and I don't know who was later in that draft that they could have taken, but I mean, I could look that up real quick.
I guess with the
What
Wizards,
was that? The 2020 draft?
2020, yeah.
there's nothing much they can do. I mean, besides put a package for a good player, and then have a big 3 and hope to be a top 6 seed in the East.
That's their ceiling.
That's their ceiling too. If I'm them, to me, I'm not a player to shoot for mediocrity.
They could have taken Tyrese Halliburton.
Oh, that's a bummer.
Which would they need another guard?
They don't need another.
They
guard.
don't need another guard.
They do
but
not
Denny
need
Avdia is a guard.
Yeah, I know, but he's kind of forward, and I think he can playmate with the ball.
Cole
too.
Anthony,
Nah.
Sadiq Bey, Precious Achua, Tyrese Maxey, R.J. Hampton, Emmanuel Quickly, Peyton Pritchard,
Hear me out.
Malachi Flynn.
I'm not big on shooting for mediocrity. I'm one of those. You do it like the 76ers did it, and you do it like the Suns
And you
did
blow it up.
You blow it up.
And be bad.
And you have a plan from the start. The Suns were bad forever. They got their people, and now, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, the same way they said it was 76ers, out of nowhere, they're good. It's not out of nowhere. That's
all
what
you
got to
do is hit on one pick.
You have to wait. Like I said, it's like stocks. You're down for a while, but that slowly, it's getting you up.
They hit on the John Wall pick. They hit on the Bradley Beal pick. And it just so happened that John Wall had a severe injury.
Yeah.
That team was a 4 seed year in and year out, beating the Hawks and playing in the semis.
And they're trying to keep that going with Russell Westbrook. Which, to me, I'm trading Russell Westbrook. I'm going even younger. You can keep Bradley Beal, great veteran. I mean, it depends. He's still younger.
It's hard for an NBA team, I don't want to say to stay relevant, but to stay at a capacity of making a 3 seed, 4 seed for more than 5 years. It's
100%.
really hard because you look at the Lakers, and even at the end of Kobe Bryant's career, they were out of the playoffs. And the Warriors, barring their injuries, they were the top, and then
out of nowhere. Yeah, I mean that's the thing.
And then they got hurt.
But you can stay at that mediocrity level for a while, and if they want to do that, sure, keep Russell Westbrook, keep Bradley Beal, add a 3rd star, ceiling 5 seed, you lose in the 2nd round. But to me,
absolute ceiling.
Yeah, absolutely. To me, I don't see what you're shooting for if you're not shooting for a championship.
Yeah.
You risk your job for a championship, and I think you blow it up. Russell Westbrook, you can keep Bradley Beal, but Russell Westbrook, I get him out. I take him to like the Lakers or somewhere. Lakers ain't got a future.
I got to take real quick. So you know about the Chris Paul, he made the Clippers better, he made the Pelicans, the Hornets better, whatever they were. He made the Thunder better, the Rockets better, and the Suns better. If you take Chris Paul and put him on this team, and I'm saying in a hypothetical situation, you replace Russell Westbrook for Chris Paul, they are a top 5 seed.
No, I think they're a 7. I mean,
6 or 7.
Russell Westbrook, he's great. But Chris Paul, just what he does with the team is unbelievable. But
so hold up, let me think through this. So the Thunder with Chris Paul, it was Dennis Schroeder, Chris Paul, Shea, I don't know who the 4 was, and Steven Adams. So you're telling me that Chris Paul and Bradley Beal together just by itself isn't better than that?
I mean, they also had,
and they made the playoffs in the West.
Yeah,
in OKC.
That's true. But
they made the 5 seed too.
I mean, what was their depth? Because you look at the depth here.
Not very good.
The backups you got coming in are Robin Lopez, E. Smith, Denny Avdia. I mean, I guess they got Alex Lynn, Chandler Hutchison. Their depth's not a lot, and it really would just be a 1-2 thing.
I just think that Chris Paul is that guy.
He is, and I think they make the playoffs. I think that.
Yeah.
But once again, I mean, it just depends what.
5 seed might be pushing it, but they make the playoffs not in a play-in situation. In my opinion.
You think so?
I think 6 seed.
I mean, with the way they were playing at the end,
they play better than the Miami Heat if Chris Paul's on that team, and they don't start the season 0-7 or whatever.
That's true.
The Wizards don't. Chris Paul doesn't let a team lose seven games.
100%.
Like that doesn't happen
I
on
guess.
a Chris Paul team.
I think they could, but that's hypothetically. So, the reality is they have Russell Westbrook.
And
To me, you're not going to make it far, especially with another ball-dominant player like Bradley Beal
Yeah.
and Russell Westbrook. That's not going to happen.
Mm-mm.
But you look at teams with duos, the Lakers. AD doesn't need the ball to be effective. He's a great defensive player. LeBron, when he wants to be great at defense, but when he has the ball, he can get it to other people. You give the ball to Bradley Beal, you're expecting a shot. You give the ball to Russell Westbrook, although he gets his assist, you're expecting some kind of play that's more towards him.
I'm going to say this, and I'm not directly comparing the two, but Bradley Beal and Devin Booker have very similar game, right?
Yeah.
And
To me, I think Devin Booker's much more of a playmaker.
I think Devin Booker is better
Yeah.
at this point in his career.
I'm taking Devin Booker.
And I say that because Devin Booker I don't want to say didn't succeed, but he didn't have this level of success until he got a floor general on his team.
Yeah, 100%.
And someone who's available that no one says will ever go to the Wizards, Kyle Lowry. If you can somehow get rid of Russell Westbrook for anything,
Yeah, 100%.
and you can get
I'm
Bradley
not-
Beal, a floor spacer, facilitator, someone who can handle the ball but not dominate the ball,
Look,
and you have a good team.
you don't need. That's a big contract. You get you somebody like, I mean, this dude's not as good, but it's just an example. Ricky Rubio.
I was thinking that same thing.
Listen, you get somebody like Ricky Rubio. First of all, Ricky Rubio, let's say he's making about what, 12 million?
Something like that. Not
What
a
team?
huge
What team?
contract.
Wait, where is he? Where is he? Now?
Timberwolves.
He's on the
Timberwolves. Let me go. Timberwolves. Okay, first of all, Russell Westbrook right now is at 41. End of contract, 47 million.
That's insane.
That is insane.
That's a lot of money.
Ricky Rubio, 17 million. Goodness gracious. But
It's a lot,
17 mil for Ricky Rubio.
but
that is clearing
but
up
I think he's
$20
more.
million in cap space for you to get Ricky Rubio at your starting point guard position.
He's
and
more
then-
of a plus than Russell Westbrook.
Exactly, and now you have $20 million to work with to bring in a solid center like Jared Allen, who can defend. You put that in there. Jared Allen, Ricky Rubio, Bradley Beal, Jared Allen, Rory Hachimura.
And this is another off the wall thing, and I'm going to the Cavs. I'm going to Cleveland real quick. Kevin Love is on a bad contract, right?
Terrible.
Yeah.
It's absolutely terrible.
31, 28.
You're going to tell me that if the Wizards called Cleveland and said Russell Westbrook for Kevin Love, they say no? Kevin Love didn't
Cavs
play.
take that. Cavs take that.
Cavs take that.
I
And
like the Cavs.
They
would
still
get rid
free
of
up money.
Kevin Love for anything.
The Wizards probably clear up $7 million. I mean, I know his contract. It's a 4-year, 120, so he's making $30 a year. So that still clears up $17 million. That's
Yeah.
$17 mil that they could package with Davis Bertans and trade for KP if they want, if they can do something like that. Or, again, sign Jared Allen.
Yeah,
I mean,
love Jared
I don't
Allen.
think the
Love
future
Jared
is
Allen.
as dull as it has been for the Wizards, but I think it's very dull.
Yeah. I mean, I guess they're just in a situation. They got to make the decision if they want to blow it up or if they want to. That's up to them. But
They're on that fringe where
yeah,
it needs
which
to
is
happen
never a good
sooner
situation.
than later. Never.
Yeah. You get nothing out of it. All right, what's next?
On from the Wizards, we have the Celtics, the 7th seed. No one expected them to be this far down there. Injuries,
At
COVID,
all.
kind of screwed them over. Kemba screwed them
Kemba,
over.
Yeah.
The question here is, where do they go from here? Because we know they just hired a new coach who is reportedly the player's favorite.
Yeah, I saw about that.
All the
They're-
players'
they're
favorite.
Really
They
excited
coached.
about that.
He coached that FIBA team with those 3 Celtics players, or 4, I think it was 4, and he was a part of Greg Popovich's coaching staff, and they all loved him. So, and I don't think they had that same love for Brad Stevens. So I think
they did. I think they lost it.
Yeah.
I think they lost it.
so. We see their starting lineup of, we know Marcus Smart's going to start, we know Jaylen Brown's going to start, and we know
Tatum at the 4.
we know Jason Tatum's going to
And
start.
then all full post and Tristan Thompson's work. I've watched their
Mm-hmm.
games. He's not good. He's so bad.
What can you like? No one knows who's going to start at point guard for the Celtics, and no one knows.
To
who's
me,
gonna start
the
at
thing
center for
is-
the Celtics.
The Celtics have always been one step away. They've gotten all these draft picks, and for what? They always wanted to trade them and get something. To me, when they had Kyrie, if Gordon Hayward wouldn't have got hurt, I think they could have done something really special with that team. Because as soon as that happened, it went downhill.
I take that back. I take the center back. They have Al Horford. Al Horford's starting at center.
Forgot about
Al Horford.
Al Horford is.
He's a winner. I'll give him that. He's a winner. But I think they pull it. I think they pull the trigger, and I think Marcus Smart. as much as they love him, Brad Stevens and him. Smart, Thompson, a young guy like
You don't give up Peyton Pritchard in this situation.
No. Romeo Langford,
Mm-hmm.
Smart, and Thompson, and whatever picks they can get rid of, you get some kind of star.
Gotta go
You
get
get
a
some.
point guard.
You need a. See, here's the thing. As much as they need a point guard now, during the season they needed a post so bad. No, an interior presence that did something. I'm talking one that blocked shots. Like, it is so sorry of how it's so bad. I won't. Miles Turner has to be on this team. He would improve there by so much.
I think in episode 1 and episode 2, we've established the fact that Miles Turner can play for any team. Any team needs a guy like Miles Turner. And now I'm just wondering, I'm trying to think in my head about substitutes for Miles Turner. Like, who else in the NBA does what he does?
Jared Allen.
Besides the shooting aspect, Jared Allen. But
he can't shoot, but Celtics need Jared Allen. But see, now's the thing. With this trade, they've shot themselves in the foot with now they ain't got a point guard. Don't get me wrong, I think Kimba should have gone. But they've got to have some idea of what they're doing. Because if they want to go get another point guard, they're not going to get one.
I saw something on Instagram, and it was their options. It was like, roll with Peyton Pritchard, roll with Marcus Smart.
Heck no, he can't play make.
And I'm trying to think.
Smart is not a point guard.
I'm trying to think of who else they said. So I'm trying to look at NBA teams to think if that'll spark my memory.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, okay, if they fix it, let's say they stay with Peyton Pritchard. Then you got Pritchard, Smart, Brown, Tatum, and a 31-year-old 6'8" Tristan Thompson.
Personally, I'm not saying I don't like Marcus Smart. I'm saying I like Jaylen Brown at the 2 a lot more than I like him at the 3.
I like Marcus Smart coming off the bench. Marcus Smart is a great player to have coming off the bench.
He's a person going off the bench.
Yeah, 100%.
I've heard rumors of Duncan Robinson.
Dude, I saw that.
I've heard it.
But, I don't
know how much of it's true.
I saw about that. Lonzo Ball. That was
the Celtics. That was another.
But they're going to have to offer above what the Pelicans are giving up.
It's going to be Marcus Smart and probably Peyton Pritchard.
Here's the deal. They're going to have to offer up to $24 million for Lonzo. If they want to give
Marcus
that up.
Smart's got like 15 of that.
Marcus Smart is making 13. So, but no, they had that trade exception. How does that work? So they have $34 million to spend. Okay, they could.
So basically, it's $34 million going to the Pelicans.
Okay, see, that's the thing. They have to figure out a way to get a defensive center 100%. But Lonzo Ball's a great move for the Celtics. Now that I think about that, you go Lonzo Ball, Jaylen Brown, Tatum, but now you're short of 4 and a 5. Now you're going to be with average 4 and 5s. If you want to roll your team with Tristan Thompson and Robert Williams, never mind that man.
Robert Williams is starting at center.
He's a starting center. He's starting caliber, but you got to have that 4-man. I don't know. I guess they're just going to trust.
I guess Al Horford can play the 4. I guess they're going to trust in that.
They can trust in that. They can trust that Taco Fall can somehow handle the ball, do enough. He's such a raw prospect. He can't do it.
Yeah. He's there for the locker room. He doesn't.
Yeah,
do
here's
much
the thing.
more.
They're so young. Like they're 20, 21, 21, 22, 25, 23, 23, 26, 23, 26, 25, 23, and 24 and 27. I mean, do they just keep trusting all these young bucks with all those picks that they wanted to trade? And Danny Ainge wouldn't pull the trigger.
At their peak, and I say they were at their peak in the Orlando bubble with Kemba, Marcus Smart, Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum, and I guess Daniel Tice was starting at that center.
Yeah.
They were literally a Bam Adebayo block shot away.
Exactly, bro.
From the finals.
That's all they need. And they were a Jared Allen away is what they were. A Jared Allen away.
They were so close, and they would have beaten the Lakers. They would have beaten the Lakers because it's just, for me, Kemba doesn't have 4 bad playoff series in a row.
See, where do you go from that, though? Where do you go from this? Do you let Evan Fournier walk? You let him walk, now your backups are 21-year-old Romeo Langford, 21-year-old Aaron Naismith, and Peyton Pritchard and Carson Edwards. That is sorry.
That is a very bad
sorry.
bench. That's when you sign T.J. McConnell.
Okay, sign T.J. McConnell. Okay, now like I said, you're rolling with Al Horford, which isn't bad, and
It's
Tristan
not
Thompson.
bad.
They shot themselves in the foot with that Kemba trade. They cleared up some space. I'm looking for them to sign 2 very good players. They have to.
I'm hoping that the new coach puts in a system where there is more pick and roll than isolation.
100%.
Because
Kemba Walker was
you
an
watch
Tatum way too much ISO. Tatum
way too much ISO.
Way
and
too
I know
much.
they won, what was it, 2 games against the Nets or 1?
I can't.
They won.
They won one.
I feel like they won one game because they were one being.
They won one game because Jason Tatum had 54. And
You can't drop 54 every night.
You can't drop 54 every night. And if Jaylen Brown is in that series, first of all, they're not the 7th seed if Jaylen Brown didn't get hurt. But second of all, if Jaylen Brown's in that series, I think it goes to 6. Because there were at least 2 more close games in that series where 24 points from Jaylen Brown would have helped.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess anything they do, they're going to be something short.
Out of the 4, let me take that back. Out of the 8 play-in teams that were in the play-in tournaments in the East and the West, the Celtics, I think, undoubtedly have the best future.
Yeah.
Because they were a team that should not have been there. They were one of the only teams that did not deserve to be all the way down there. The Lakers, I think the way they played, even when AD and LeBron came back, and the way they rested them, being confident, I think that they have a brighter future than the Lakers.
I think best case scenario, point guard, they go with Lonzo Ball. Shooting guard, Jaylen Brown. You go Tatum, Horford at the 4, and you trade Smart and other things for Miles Turner for Miles Turner. But then, I guess you got to hope you have enough money to get some kind of bench. You get Duncan Robinson maybe, but that's like...
Duncan Robinson's going to get paid a lot of money to shoot the ball. JJ Redick got paid a lot of money to shoot the basketball.
How much money they have left. Like, I don't know how much they have that they can spend. It doesn't tell me, but that's what we need because I don't know. They can get Lonzo Ball. I know that. They can get Lonzo Ball, which to me, they need before they need another center because they got Al Horford. Because I'm not rolling with Peyton Pritchard being my starting point guard. Too young.
He can be a backup.
He can be, exactly. He's a great backup. Great backup. I mean...
He's small, too, isn't he?
I guess you try to match up... contracts. You can sign and trade Evan Fournier for Miles Turner. That's a $17 million compared to Miles Turner's $18. But do they even want him? That picks.
Because then you look at that, and it's Malcolm Brogdon, Karis LeVert. If T.J. Warren stays, if he doesn't, Evan Fournier slips right in. DeMontis Sabonis, and then they go out and get a center. The Pacers are the most average team in the NBA. Recently, you've seen they've been a 4 seed, 5 seed. They played the Cavs tough a couple of times in the first round. They played the Heat, got swept last year. But they're average, and I think the move of Miles Turner for Evan Fournier, I don't think that helps them be not average. But I think Miles Turner's time in Indiana is over just because from watching a few Pacers games, you can tell that DeMontis Sabonis and Miles Turner, though they're friends, they're best friends, they don't gel together on the court.
Let me see. Cap space. Current cap space. I mean, the Celtics are down negative $21 million.
Golly.
But they have a cap hold of $33 million. So there's $12 million there right there. Another $3 million. In total, they have 134 in total hard cap salaries. They got a trade section of how much was it?
It's like
$28 million.
That is the biggest ever.
So does that just mean they can use it that just means they can use it to sign somebody?
So basically what that means, no, they can't. What it means is if you trade Peyton Pritchard, just a hypothetical.
For $4 million.
For $4 million, it adds the 28, so it's a $32 million. So you can trade a lower contract player for a higher contract player.
That's where you're going to go trade Marcus Smart for $13 million, or perhaps Marcus Smart and Tristan Thompson. You trade Marcus Smart and you get Miles Turner.
Yeah.
You're still at $21 million. And what's it called? The trade exception. No, you could use it for Lonzo Ball. I would use the sign and trade for Lonzo Ball, 100%. And then whatever you have left, you can try to trade something, picks, and get another bench player. That's how you clear the depth, and then you sign Jared Allen. I mean, they're really just in a situation where they want to get a point guard or they want to get a center.
Yeah,
To
and
me-
I think you choose the ball handler.
100%. I think
You
get
choose the
Lonzo Ball.
facilitator.
I
You
think-
don't choose another Kemba Walker.
I think you get the man that's averaging 15, 8, and 6 in a situation that was awful for him, and now he's a lethal three-point shooter. I think for a team like the Celtics, he has nothing but a prize. Lonzo Ball he's not going to get it most improved, but like the improvement for him is unbelievable. And I think a backcourt of Lonzo, Jaylen Brown, and Tatum, that defense right there is stacked.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can somehow, Brad Stevens, picks his way into getting Miles Turner too,
That's insane.
that team is a top 4 seed.
Absolutely insane.
That's crazy.
Great team.
It's just I don't know how you can do it with contracts. 100% Marcus Smart's gone. 100%.
I don't think 100%, but I think that moving forward, I think that's the best option.
Yeah, I think so.
I think we can move on to the Heat. I think we've
Yeah.
said our piece. about the
Celtics are
Celtics.
just too everywhere with contracts wise.
Yeah, they've got to figure that out. For the Heat, it's always a question: who do they go after in free agency?
Let's see. I mean, they got Victor Oladipo, but I know they just recently got him. Dang, they were looking like they were gonna be good too. With that
And then he
Brandon
tore his
Roy.
quad.
Yep.
So I'm gonna read out the top few free agents: Chris Paul, Kawhi Leonard, Mike Conley, Kyle Lowry, DeMar DeRozan, Otto Porter, Victor Oladipo, Goran Dragic, Tim Hardaway Jr., Dennis Schroeder, Evan Fournier, Danny Green, Andre Iguodala, Kelly Oubre, and I'll stop there because
If you're being honest with me, first thing I'm going after is Kawhi. You tell
Facts, I
me. Look,
mean-
this is the Miami life. It's you get to get your rest here, but a Jimmy Butler, Kawhi, and Bam defense
That's
is
and
that is insane.
you look at that and you see you can't re-sign Goran, you can't re-sign Kendrick Nunn, and you can't retain Duncan Robinson.
That hurts.
It hurts a
Goran
lot.
Expected. Duncan Robinson would be a great team for a defensive team like that. Because although his defense is not good,
Great defenders, just
they'll pick up the slack.
they pick up the slack.
exactly.
That's what they do.
Dude.
But
And with Jimmy's poor shooting, and then Kawhi's, he's a shooter, I guess. But Jimmy has been shooting like dog crap.
17.
Duncan Robinson makes up for that. And then I guess who would they have at point guard? I'm looking at their roster. Tyler Hero kind of played some of the point, but I don't like that at all. I don't like.
I
Tyler
think
Hero.
if you have Kawhi, Jimmy, and Bam, I don't think it matters who the point guard is. But
Yeah.
then again, Kyle Lowry.
Kyle Lowry. Are you saying with Kawhi? Well, how much money he got?
I don't know, but when you hear Kyle Lowry free agency, you hear the Miami Heat, and I think if you look at it like you miss out on Kawhi, you get Kyle Lowry, Victor Oladipo, Jimmy Butler. I don't care who's starting at the 4, and Bam.
Do you? Okay, hold on. Let's see. So if we were to sign Kawhi Leonard, are we bringing back Victor Oladipo? His contract ends. I wouldn't bring him back.
If he asks for another 4-year 80,
That's
no.
No.
If this man
If he asks for a 2-year
18 each
36, yeah, I
2-year
can give
36.
him that. I mean,
and somehow
for him to be 50% of what he was, I think 2 years 36 is reasonable.
and then you bring in Kawhi, I'm going with that 3 backcourt. That's the ball handling. There are no playmakers. That's the thing. Playmaking wise, that's terrible.
Jimmy Butler can just facilitate.
But Jimmy Butler, Victor Oladipo, Kawhi Leonard, Bam Adebayo defense, that's unstoppable.
That's the best defense the NBA's ever
Okay.
seen.
Imagine this, or imagine you do a sign and trade with Victor Oladipo. You get
Trade him for Kyle Lowry.
Kyle Lowry. Exactly. You get a solid.
This dude's
point
bad
guard
bringing
like that.
Miles Turner again.
No, not Miles Turner. Dude, that might be one of the only teams that don't want Miles Turner. I mean, it don't hurt.
But
Lonzo Ball, another person. Lonzo Ball would be great. He can facilitate, definitely keep up with their defensive effort. He loves playing like that.
I think what we've concluded is that it would be pretty easy to trade for Lonzo Ball.
Easy for the Pelicans. here's the thing.
I think there's a lot of teams that could put a compelling package together.
The Pelicans are trying to speed up their process to surround Zion so he'll be happy. Which trading Lonzo wouldn't make him happy. But if you had Lonzo Ball, Jimmy Butler, and Kawhi Leonard, you have your facilitator, you have and Bam, you have your defense. You feel in any stretch four is going to make that team lethal. And I've run it back. 100% run it back with that squad. That squad would be lethal.
Now, other free agents I think I had on this list, if you miss out on the Kawhi Leonards and you miss out on Kyle Lowry.
Chris Paul.
In this situation, you miss out on Chris Paul.
Okay. Yeah.
Dennis Schroeder and Tim Hardaway Jr.
Yes, dude. That would help them a lot.
And
that'd be going more depth, like, which is kind of, and more like, bunch of role players, which is kind of how
and
they
that's
did
saying
it.
You don't re-sign Goran Dragic.
Yeah, I'm not big on Dennis Schroeder.
So Dennis Schroeder pops into the starting.
Yeah.
And I guess you probably don't retain Duncan. And so you put THJ, Jimmy, if they still have Trevor Ariza, Trevor starting at the 4, and then Bam.
No, he's losing a $12 million contract. 13 pretty much. This year it's at the end of it.
Golly. Gotta love people who pay 35-year-olds that much money. That's just insane.
But Iguodala too. He's got $15 million of team option. Team option. They're letting that man go.
Unless they don't.
Okay, they got a team option on Goran. You know that, right? They could bring back Goran.
Oh, he signed that 2-year, 18, 1+1.
Okay, yeah. You let Jimmy go. You let Victor go. That's $21 million. Ariza, Andre. That's over $40-something million right there. I mean, there's enough money to sign Kawhi, and then you're going Dragic, Jimmy Butler, Kawhi Leonard,
whoever.
Yeah, whoever. Bielitsa, but he's gone, and Bam Adebayo. Then you have Precious Achiuwa. I can't say his name. Tyler Hero. I guess Duncan's got to go. I mean, do you keep Tyler Hero or do you trade him?
I don't know. What baffles me about Heat Nation is that they would not trade Tyler Hero for Jimmy. Or not Jimmy.
Yeah.
James Harden. I'm seeing... Okay, so I'm looking at the free agency. I'm looking at free agency, and I see Kelly Oubre. And you think of Heat culture, you think of defense, you think of three-point shooting, and what is there not to like about a $15 million contract for all of that?
Yeah, 15's really good for Kelly Oubre. He started finding his stride after that rough start. But I think they just need one more superstar. I really do. I think that's what they need is another superstar.
I would say...
But not at the sacrifice of too much.
Correct. I would say that 17 from Bam and 17 from Jimmy is not enough for a superstar duo.
Exactly.
They need someone to come in and score the ball for them.
So you're saying just one more score. I mean, I think the fact that you could have Jimmy Butler as a second option to Kawhi Leonard to me is insane. Because although Jimmy wasn't playing good, and then have Bam there too, that defense right there is a solid top 5 seed. I don't care who you put next to that.
The defense itself will carry the team.
And in the playoffs, it will carry you.
And the thing that's been brought up recently about like defense versus offense is, and what we've been discussing is defense for the Miami Heat. But it's a problem because the only thing about the NBA is you need a bucket.
Yeah.
Like if you can get a bucket, you're going to win a game. If you get a stop, you win a game. Bam won a game off of a block. Yeah. But
well, here's the thing.
If you get buckets, you win games.
He won the finals when Jimmy was Jimmy Buckets, and he was out of his mind. I mean, the Heat were like a defensive caliber team, I guess you could say. Like, they didn't have bucket getters. But you look at this team. First of all, Victor Oladipo was hurt, and he's still on one leg, practically. You have Butler and Bam Adebayo. What next do you have on defense? For a defensive team, they sure don't have a lot of defensive players. Iguodala,
and that goes back to the philosophy of
Goran Dragic, Trevor Ariza, 35 years old. Bielitsa, no. Tyler Hero, no.
And that's why they lost in 4.
And that's why they lost 4, because they don't have. For a defensive team, you got to have defense. Mm-hmm. And that doesn't mean just 2 defenders. That means you have people 3 to 4 that can cover the court and do inside and outside. You need multiple outside, especially. Inside, you can have one presence because there's not as many big men. Outside, with the way wings play now, you need multiple great defenders, which is why Kawhi, who can do
I
it
think
anywhere.
that the Heat are better than the 6th seed.
Me too.
Because the Knicks exist. I think that the Heat are a 5 seed, and that's not much of a difference, but that's the difference of playing the Bucks in the first round or the Hawks in the first round. And I know the Hawks were hot, but actually I take that back. The Hawks, I think the Heat are a 4 seed.
Yeah.
So you get home court advantage versus the Hawks versus having the Bucks in the first round. And I think that next year we'll see that. I hope. I don't think they were bubble frauds. Some of them. I think Tyler Hero was.
Bubble guppy.
Yeah.
Bubble Guppy.
Remember when y'all were trying to tell me he was better than R.J. Barrett? And who said he wasn't? Who was that? Me? Parker? Was that me? Yes.
Who can make a 3-pointer?
Who got a team into the playoffs and actually won around?
Who went to the finals first?
Yeah, because of him.
Yeah. Oh, in the bubble. I
But
mean,
what about
yeah.
now? What about now?
They
Tyler
still
Hero
they
is-
went out in the same round.
Tyler Hero.
They
is
did go out in the
sorry,
same round.
But
yeah.
who played sorry, and that's Tyler Hero.
Anyways, I think we can move on. Next team is the 5 seed, the Hawks. Hometown team, gang. Question, how do they build off of this season? I know they're in the conference finals. They're up 1-0. They took home court advantage.
I've got to say, I thought their contracts were even bigger than what they are.
The Hawks, their biggest contract is $19 million.
$19 million for Danilo. It reaches up
For
to
3 years.
Yeah, 18 Bogdan, 16 Clint, and then they got an amazing player in Tony Snell at $12 million. But
If he gets out of there, bro, that's $12 million just to spend.
dude, exactly. This year they'll lose Louis Williams, who they don't even play. He hardly. I mean, some of these playoff games, does he?
He played versus the Bucks and he gave them good production, but he's literally he's unplayable with Trae Young.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He's gone into the role. He's changed how he kind of played with the Clippers. He's gone into the role of Trae Young 2.0 off the bench. So everything Trae does on the floor, when he's on, he does the same stuff.
Yeah. So here's the thing. I'd let him walk. That's $20 million you have right there.
They
24. John Collins, 24. So that'd be $24 million. They'll have close to.
They desperately
30
need
this
another
year.
player.
Well, they got to worry about re-signing John Collins. I don't think they desperately. I mean, the fact that
4
they
year
made it this
80.
far.
I think John Collins gets that 4 year 80, 4 year 100. I don't know.
They've made it this far with just everybody they have. I think they're going to make the finals. I think it's going to be a Suns and Hawks. So you try not to lose anything.
What's
You
stopping the
can
Hawks?
afford to get rid of Tony Snell.
What's stopping them from going out and getting Victor Oladipo?
I think just because you don't want Victor Oladipo, maybe. I'd rather want Kelly Ray Jr. Somebody like that. Victor Oladipo.
That too. Tim Hardaway Jr. It's just a bunch of names you can throw out.
They're like, yeah, 100%. I'm running it back, and you pick and choose like the little tiny places you can improve, like Tony Snell and Louis Williams.
Like defense, whatever defense you can get in this offseason, just go get it.
Exactly. And then the fact that
like you have your starters locked up. Like Trae Young's going to be there for at least 5 more years. John Collins is going to be there.
Every single one of the
Clint
starters.
Capella is going to be there.
Not necessarily on John Collins. John Collins is
Probably going to resign. No. I was watching an interview and he was talking like he said he knows it's corny, but they're literally brothers in that locker room, so that he's going to stay no matter what.
Well, okay, so they have him, and they have that, I can't say his name,
Onyeka Okongwu.
DeAndre Hunter. They have their depth still.
Cam Reddish.
Kevin
Herter. Kayvon.
Kayvon Herter.
My dude Kayvon.
Chris Dunn, who I think's a great backup player.
He hasn't played a season. He hasn't played a game this season.
Like, out of choice?
No, not out of choice. He was hurt.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Like, I think when he gets back, you're good on backup point guard. So, yeah, I mean, you just pick and choose. You try to...
You just got to find the right people. You got to find the right pieces to put along Trae Young.
You can't do too much, so I think you just...
You can't, because I think the Heat did too much. Mm-hmm. They lost Jay Crowder, and that was too much.
Yeah.
So...
It's not a coincidence Jay Crowder finds his way in these playoff situations.
Yeah.
He does so good.
Made the playoffs 8 years in a row. Like, you can't replace that with Trevor Ariza.
I run it back, or I add one more. role player, and I just say Trae Young's only going to get better. Him, John Collins, only going to
Honestly, I forgot about DeAndre Hunter. You run it back. Trae Young,
Here's the
Kevin
thing.
Huerter, DeAndre Hunter, John Collins, Clint Capella. You run that
Nowadays,
back.
fans and teams get too caught up in, I have salary cap, I can use it in trying to get. Sometimes
And then you
getting
become
more,
the Knicks paying 4 power forwards.
and
18
sometimes
mil.
the Heat getting more hurts you. This person could lose their minutes and stuff like that.
And
Why
then
not just get everybody back? That is necessary. That's a necessity, and just run it back. And you wait on that cap because then you're gonna get more cap. Then eventually, when it's ready to take that shot, you take it. Because many teams like the Knicks, they shoot too early and they just do dumb stuff because they have the cap.
Mm-hmm.
You have teams like the Celtics who won't pull the trigger, and I think the Hawks need to wait for the right time. And if they feel it doesn't hurt their team, you can pull in one more star later.
And Atlanta is, I know from personal experience, Atlanta is very, how do I say it, built into their culture.
Mhm.
Atlanta has
Yeah.
a very unique culture, and it's not like Heat
Yeah,
culture.
yeah.
Like, Heat culture is a patented thing. Like, Atlanta culture is just different. Like, you have Quavo, you have, and I know it sounds like it doesn't matter, but the people who are drafted in Atlanta want to stay in Atlanta. Trae Young loves Atlanta.
Atlanta's a place.
It's a place. John
it's a
Collins
culture. It's a
loves
culture.
Atlanta. Clint Capella, he was so happy to get out of Houston and go to
look
Atlanta.
at it, they're a new fun team. They're
Mhm.
very modern. You can tell they've adapted since the Al Horford days.
Yep.
They adapted into their city.
They
really.
finally have an athletic point guard.
Yeah.
They have an athletic center and they have an athletic power forward. That you didn't have that with Al Horford, Paul Millsap.
Why do you
and
want to
Jeff
mess?
Teague.
Why do you want to mess any of that up? That's what I'm saying.
Trae Young is
going to
get better. DeAndre Hunter is going to get better.
John Collins is going to get better. Some
Cam
of these
Reddish off the
teams-
bench is going to get better.
Your chemistry when you keep making changes isn't going to go up. But if you say, okay, team, we just made the finals. Everybody come back. We're running this thing back. We're getting our rest this year. You run it back, and then let's say 2-3 years down the line, off season. Okay, we have $30 million in cap. Let's spend it.
Yeah.
And then you use it.
Someone like, I don't know, I'm just going to throw a name out. Jaylen Brown becomes unhappy with the Celtics. If
Exactly, bro.
someone becomes unhappy somewhere and you have 30 mil
Exactly.
and you have Trae Young and you have John Collins and Clint Capella.
That's
You
very-
have 30 mil for a player who doesn't like their small market team, doesn't like their front office, doesn't like their coach, and they still have Nate McMillan.
Yeah, 100%. They need to wait. Why mess anything up? They're one of their players that plays. Their oldest one is Danilo, who's 32, but he's a good 32. He's not an aging 32.
And his game doesn't require athleticism.
Yeah.
Exactly.
He can play for a while.
Then you got Bogdan, 28, Capella, 27.
Still young.
Trae Young. The fact that Trae Young is 22 years old,
That is insane. Absolutely insane.
unbelievable. Cam Reddish, 21. Where is he?
Did you say DeAndre Hunter yet?
DeAndre Hunter, 23. Them three right there, plus Capella, that's a very young squad. And then they got other young folks. Kevin Huerter, 22 years old. I can't say his name. Is it Kevin?
Huerter.
Kevin Huerter. Bruno Fernando, he's not that good, but he could be a solid center one day. He's 22. So you wait it out. I think from now on, I think they'll be a playoff team.
I hope they wait it out. I hope they don't spend big on someone like Victor Oladipo.
Me neither. I think that'd be dumb. They'd get caught up in the momentum and wanting to do that, but I wouldn't do it.
For Atlanta, I think the future is very bright.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
I say that trying to segue into the Knicks. And the question for the Knicks is, was this season a fluke? They were a 4 seed, but at the end of the season, they were in the realm of if they lose one more game, they're a 7 seed.
Yeah.
So when you look at things like that, do you see them having home court advantage as a fluke?
I mean, you watch them in the playoffs, they got exposed. What was that series?
4-1.
4-1. Randall showed that I'm not going to lead a team anywhere. I'll lead you to a 7-5 seed.
He'll lead you to the playoffs. He won't lead you in the
But
playoffs.
hey, when we get in the playoffs now and they focus on me even more, I can't promise you anything.
When you look at the situational sort of things that happened, the Heat had a bad stretch of the season.
Mm-hmm.
The Celtics, Kemba Walker, injuries, COVID.
Terrible, ugly.
The Hawks had to fire a coach to get better. If the Hawks had Nate McMillan all season, they're a 5.
Yeah.
They're a 4 seed.
Yeah. You don't see a lot of times firing coaches and then it comes back and helps them in mid-season.
And you look at the Knicks and you see you see like what do they do to get better?
Well, let's see. They're young. They got R.J. Barrett, 21 years old. Obi Toppin, 23. Emmanuel Quickly,
I don't
22.
like Obi Toppin.
Mitchell Robinson, 23.
I was high on him coming in, but
Yeah, everybody got.
I
hyped up
think
because of
again,
Duncan.
like he was one of those players
And
where
Rand of 26.
they didn't think he'd fall to him at 8,
Yeah.
so they just drafted him because
Well,
they went best available instead of fit, and they already had Julius Randle.
yeah, that I did not. I don't know. But with Julius Randle,
Again, Tyrese Halliburton was on the table.
Julius Randle's gonna get. He's gonna get better. He's 26 years old. R.J. Barrett's gonna get better. He's 21 years old. But Derrick Rose, they're losing, which was a key player for them.
Mm-hmm.
And Alfred Payton, they're losing. And they're not losing. You know, they're gonna have to sign both of them. They have a lot of cap space, and I mean a lot. After 18 million,
Kyrie Irving.
I know we're getting off the topic. Was it a fluke? Which to me, I don't think it was a. I think it was kind of a fluke. I think the only reason they were a 4
I
seed.
think it was a situational fluke.
Exactly. They were a 4 seed because other teams were having a fluke of a season
Yes.
of being bad. So I don't think they're a 4. What seed were they? 5? 4. I don't think they're a 4 seed at all. I think they're a solid. I guess you could say 7 or 8. But they have the money.
And to me there's a difference between a 2017 Pistons team 8 seed versus a 2020-2021 8 seed Knicks team. The Knicks are leaps and bounds better than the Pistons were.
Yeah.
So when we say 8 seed, it's not like, oh, they're bad, they're only an 8 seed. Like for the Knicks, they've been straight 15 seeds for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
Like
they can sign money wise, they can sign
anybody.
But let's look at people who's truly going to go there. You can count Chris Paul. That's not going to happen.
If you really think you can poach Kawhi from the Clippers, give him the biggest contract in NBA.
I don't think they will. I don't think that'll happen. I think he's got his eyes set on. I really think the Warriors, if they can figure that out. But see, that's the thing. Here they go again with. Do you want to give a lot to Mike Conley or to Kyle Lowry, DeMar DeRozan, Victor Oladipo, or you can go younger, like how they're kind of do, like a bunch of role players, one kind of star. You get like Tim Hardaway's, Dennis Schroeder's, or do you just have to
Tim
wait
Hardaway
it out?
didn't do good in New York the first time,
Yeah.
or the second time, or the third time. I don't know how many times he's been there.
Do you have to wait it? I guess you just if you can't pull one of the stars, you don't do what they did last time. You
for
wait
me, one of the things the Knicks can do, find a team that'll take Kevin Knox and get whatever you can.
Oh yeah,
Kevin Knox
get
is
Kevin Knox.
the worst
Get-
player in the league.
Find a team that'll take Frank Ntilikina and get him somewhere.
Yeah, I think you keep Obi Toppin for now. For now,
You keep him because if Julius Randle fizzles out next season and he returns back to the 17 points, 17 spin moves a game,
Mitchell Robinson. I love Mitchell Robinson.
I did too. And he's another one of those players like Miles Turner, who though he can't shoot, will give you a block or two.
Did you notice how the NBA is going to shoot threes and all this? And what does every single team want? They want a shot blocker now. That's really valuable. Even though because the way the game's played, something like that. That's why Zion goes through a tear in the league because it's all threes and it's all that kind of stuff. And then you have somebody destroying the paint like he is. Like it's just it messes everybody up. So I think you either go big or go home, especially in the city in New York. And then if not, you wait and you do it again. You got to have patience. Don't do what they did where they signed 4 power forwards just to use their cap.
Golly, man. I mean, there's not much to say about the Knicks because it's new. Like, in our lifetime, when was the last time the Knicks were good?
That's the first time.
2013?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Something
And
like
I
that.
didn't
I
don't even know if I watched basketball in 2013.
I was 9.
Like,
I wasn't too much into it.
It's not hard to convince Knicks fans to go into a rebuild. It's not hard.
Yeah, because they've
but
done it for.
You don't want to do it again.
No.
If
I
you
don't
can
even-
become the Pacers and be a 4 seed for a couple of years, someone sees you and they're like, "Oh, let me help this."
No, here's the thing. You become a 4 seed or a 5 seed in Indiana for 5 years, that's what you're going to be forever. You do that in New York
Someone's
City.
someone's
New York's
bound to
a lot
go.
One
more-
star is going to say, we have a 4 seed. I come in, we're an automatic 2 seed. And we can make a run.
New York's a
Irving.
lot more
Mhm.
intriguing than Indianapolis.
Exactly.
We haven't even brought up the fact that Zion, his
Yeah.
100% top destination would be New York.
If
outside New
they
Orleans.
that's what I'm saying. They got to chill on their money. You got to be patient, and that Knicks fans know how to be patient nowadays. Like back then, maybe not, but you waited out 3 to 4 more years. Whenever, let's see how much what's his face has left. Pelicans, Zion Williamson. Zion has
Should be a year.
Nah, he's got a team option up until 2023. Like then 2023.
Oh, yeah, you get a 4-year. Got it.
So you wait until let me see, where are we? The Knicks. Once again, you wait until then. Until then, you have Obi Toppin will be available then. R.J. Barrett will be available then. Emmanuel Quickly. You sign back Mitchell Robinson. You have R.J. Barrett, who's going to be great, and you have those young players. And let's say you don't use that cap money on some unnecessary people. All of a sudden, you're walking there with $45 million in cap waiting for Zion. Then you have Zion Williamson. You have R.J. Barrett, Obi Toppin if he develops.
And at that point, you trade Julius Randle.
At that point, Julius Randle's going to be traded by then, I think so. For more cap space, and I think for like a young point guard. Because that's what they'll need too with them too.
And probably by that time, it'll be someone like from not this year's, but the 2020 draft class or the 2019 draft class. Someone like Killian Hayes, who when Cade Cunningham goes to Detroit, Killian Hayes wants out, and they trade for him, and he does 12 points per game. Like, the Knicks will take that.
The Knicks' great days are coming at 2023 and up. They will be a lethal team. And with or without Zion, there's going to be a young star that they
when
can
players like KD fizzle out, James Harden fizzle out, all these LeBrons,
and
they're
within the next the next 4 years.
Yes. With that, we go on to the Bucks as the 3 seed, and we know they're fighting for a place to go to the NBA Finals. Personally, I don't think they'll get there, but and my thing is, if they don't get there, they see that they can get that close. But what do they do to get better? Their cap space is 0.
Yeah, with Drew Holiday 26, 30, 32, 34, Giannis 27, 39 gets up to $51 million, which for him, okay, that's
worth it. You give Giannis that money to stay in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
If you can, that's what they had to pay him to stay in Milwaukee.
Yeah.
You give him that.
Chris Middleton, 29. By the end of his contract, he'll be around 33, 34. To me, I don't think he'll be as good. There's really not much you can do. I guess you just have to run it back.
You gotta hope.
Yeah, that's all it is. You can get rid of Brook Lopez and try to go something different there. He's got $12 million. Do something there. Maybe.
If you get rid of Brook Lopez, you finally put Giannis at the 5. Chris Middleton at the 3, Drew Holiday at the 1 or 2, whatever you want to do. Dante DiVincenzo at the 1 or the 2, whatever you want to do. And you find a power forward not named PJ Tucker.
Not named Bobby Portis?
That's hard because Bobby Portis is good, but when you look at free agency, right now there's nobody. There's no power forward that.
The first one I see is Cody Zeller. No, he's a center too.
Kelly Olynyk is the first power
remember,
forward.
I'd rather have Giannis at the 4 though. Giannis at the 4.
Yeah.
Giannis
So at that situation, who cares about fit? You sign Serge Ibaka.
The fact that they have Derek Jones Jr. over Lonzo Ball ticks me off.
But it's just the Bucks are in a cap lock where it's like, you have 3 max players, but you have 1 super max, and that's hard. You can't have a super max and 2 maxes.
There's no way. They're gonna have to finesse their way with Brook Lopez. I think you just get another athletic center, and then I don't know. I mean, Brook does his job though. What do they really need? Like, what have they been struggling with? It's like it feels like they have.
They don't struggle with anything. Their facilitator is Drew Holiday.
Yeah.
They have shooters.
There it is. I feel like
Duncan
Robinson would be
Duncan Robinson.
No, that Drew Holiday. As a Pelicans fan, we kind of know point guard.
He can't shoot very well.
He can't. He's very inconsistent shooting, and he's a facilitator, but he's not a true point guard. He's a true two. 100%. If you can bring in some kind of great point guard to go, Drew Holiday feels best at the 2, and that's for a fact. If you bring in a facilitator like T.J. McConnell or somebody, and you have Drew at the 2-man, oh my gosh, Chris at the 3, Giannis at the 4, Brook, that's really all they need. Somebody else to get the ball out of Drew Holiday.
And I think that's who Dante DiVincenzo is for them. Like
Yeah.
they're missing him right now.
They
They're
really
missing,
are.
They're missing 12 points a game.
It's hard to you can't like I said we can't really correct something that's going so well. Sometimes you have to run it back and it's just your year.
Like it's hard to analyze these teams that are top 3 seeds in their conferences respectively, and they're 4 games away from an NBA championship. Like,
exactly.
It's hard to say what can they do better, but there's a chance they don't make the finals with this roster. That there's not much you can do to retool.
But the more I look at that, I would really want to get a facilitator with the ball because Drew Holiday plays so great at the 2.
Yeah.
That man is lethal at the 2, and he's good with the ball in his hands and stuff at the 1. But I guarantee you, he'll play better offensively, defensively, and the whole team will play better with him at the 2.
Yes.
Because he knows how to play with the big man. Don't get me wrong, he played with AD for many years, but
He did
like
great with AD.
he can still work great with Giannis at the 2. He did that for many years when we brought in other point guard. He didn't play much that year, but what was his face? Alfred Payton, was it?
Yeah, over Peyton.
In the games he did play, AD and Drew, nothing changed.
Let's
Nothing
do some
changed.
comparing to a team that I think is similar with this 3 max player situation, the Suns. Okay, you look at Drew Holiday, Chris Paul, both max. You look at Chris Middleton, Devin Booker, both max. And you look at Giannis and DeAndre Ayton. The Suns, 2 of those 3 players are better than the Bucks.
Yeah, exactly. That's
And
why they'll win.
and the
five
thing
or
about it
something.
is, Chris Paul's going to get brought back for a less contract than Drew Holiday.
Yep.
And
Yep.
I think Devin Booker's contract is more valuable than Chris Middleton's.
I think he might make less. No, let me see. Suns.
I'm not even saying numerical
Devin
wise.
Booker
I'm
makes-
saying
yeah,
for the
Devin Booker-
productivity that Devin Booker gives the Suns, it's more than the productivity that Chris Middleton gives the Bucks.
Yeah, I feel you. I can't find the Bucks.
Milwaukee, just a thought, you know.
Yeah. Middleton makes like $4 million more than what Booker makes. But you run it back with them. Keep running it back. If you have a chance to pick in a little backup. Here's the thing. Let's say you go that point guard that, like I'm saying, they don't have to start. But that is such a great improvement to come off the bench to work with Giannis or somebody like that. And then that's another lineup. Okay, now we can run Drew at the 2 with a true point guard.
Yeah.
Very true point guard. And then I think that's just a little improvement they could do.
Yeah. There's not much to say about the Bucks.
No,
They're 4
no.
games away from a
Yeah.
championship. I think we can move on
From
to
making
it.
it to the finals.
From making it to the finals.
I
I
just think
think
some
that we can move on to a team that should have been in their situation, the Nets, with Kyrie, James Harden, and KD.
Okay.
It's how do you off the book question is how do you not make an Eastern Conference Finals with 2 scoring champions and an NBA champion?
Wait, who are we talking about?
The Nets. The
Okay,
Nets.
my bad. I wasn't paying attention. They just got unlucky with
They
full.
got
The,
unlucky.
the Nets having everybody, they would have killed everybody
Yeah.
to me.
The
Maybe
Knicks
not the
had
Hawks, but
everybody.
they would
It's
have
no
belonged.
contest.
They would have belonged to everybody. Like I'm saying, they didn't have to go through the Hawks, but I'm saying every Eastern team there, they would beat if they had everybody, 100%.
And now these reports about Kyrie come out, how they're fed up with him. What do?
I mean, they can be fed up, but
We all know that Kyrie is
The
a
fact
weird
is-
dude.
He's a very weird person.
Weird dude.
Have you seen his Instagram?
if you can somehow miraculously control them, that team is unstoppable. I don't care what
In
attitude you
theory,
have.
that team has to be unstoppable. But you see, Blake Griffin might want to explore going somewhere else. You see, and he's their starting center.
Mm-hmm.
And then you look at Joe Harris, who I don't know about his contract situation, but he could go somewhere and someone would pay him a lot of money to go shoot the basketball.
Whether he makes it or not. 'Cause
Whether he's-
based off the playoffs, he's
Shot
just,
the same as Ben Simmons.
yeah,
you know?
he saw Ben Simmons was. But I mean, I guess you keep him because you're not going to get anything back the same way. Like, what do you get for Kyrie Irving? What team wants Kyrie Irving? I feel like a team like the Pelicans.
The Knicks would take Kyrie Irving.
The Knicks would take Kyrie Irving because they'll take virtually anybody. The Pelicans trying to speed up their process. Kyrie's on the youngest end to. That's perfect for Zion. I don't want him. I'm not big on Kyrie Irving. I could see that happening if they lose Lonzo Ball.
Yeah.
Like, what would they trade for him? Jackson Hayes gone.
Shucks,
Said.
I like Jackson Hayes.
I love Jackson Hayes.
Peace out, you know.
What?
But just say goodbye to Jackson Hayes.
Bye, Jackson
I feel like
Hayes.
a lot of these. I think that the Timberwolves would be in trades for Kyrie.
D'Lo. They got D'Lo back, but that'd be weird. That'd be awkward.
I think it would be Cat more likely.
Yeah. Bring. That'd be nasty. KD, Cat, and Harden. Oh my goodness.
I wonder if the Bulls could trade Vucevic for him.
Yeah, they could do that. I would love to see. You'd go Kyrie Irving, Zach LaVine. Kyrie Irving, Zach
Patrick
LaVine.
Williams.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see what else.
Again, not much to say about the Nets.
No,
The big one next is the Sixers, and I feel like we want to get to that one.
that is the one.
That's the one we need.
That's an
Okay.
actual one seed that is like you don't suck,
But you suck.
but you
Yeah.
suck, and like
They had problems.
you need to change things.
What do you
Yeah.
get for Simmons?
You need to.
What can you get for Ben Simmons?
I say the best thing you can get is CJ.
That's not the best thing you can get.
That's the best thing you can get.
I'm
realistically,
telling
I'd
you.
say. Especially after that playoffs.
First of all, I don't. We keep saying give him another chance. Give him another chance. If they're working on it this year, like as if they haven't been working on it. I don't know why they're saying that.
Why are they
pretty
waiting
much
until
every
they
year.
lose in the semis?
This is what I'm
They
wondering.
said
They're
that
like,
every year,
yeah,
though.
they're like, okay,
And
we're
it's
figuring
never
this out. We're gonna figure this out with him. What have you been doing with
We-
him?
What's the difference from
Has
last
the
year when
developmental
Yeah.
it's the same
staff
thing?
not been with Ben Simmons on a shooting gun, 1,000 shots a day? Why
Who
is
was
that
it?
not
At least
happening?
get him a like.
Who was it that said they saw that he's constantly around his family and he's being babied and told what he's like, how he's fine
At
and
least
not.
get him to work and hit a
And
free
apparently that's what Stephen A. said. He doesn't work. He doesn't listen.
throw. Yeah.
I wouldn't
If
be
that's
surprised.
true, I don't see how else you couldn't improve your shooting.
His game doesn't rely on. I don't want to say this. His game doesn't rely on him working on basketball skills.
Yeah. His playmaking comes too, and his rebounding. He's 16 point guard. He's athletic, strong.
Like when
But-
you're being boxed out by Kyrie Irving.
Yeah.
Steph
Here's the
Curry,
thing.
You're gonna get rebounds.
Yeah.
There's no reason he shouldn't be able to shoot the ball. No reason. I think it's something with the 76ers. What is it with them and jump shots? Markel Fultz could shoot.
They messed that dude up.
And then what happened when he left?
That was
Started
more
getting
of
way more confident.
injury
He can
problem.
shoot.
If that man was on the Pelicans, that man would be great.
It's got to be
They
something
did it
with
with
their
Lonzo.
developmental staff or their doctors.
Uh-huh.
Something about it.
Exactly. I don't know, but I mean, you can do the CJ. You can do the trade,
Yeah.
but I mean, a CJ McCollum trade's great to me. I don't like CJ at the 1, but you can send him at the 2. You can
Yeah.
keep him at the 1, and a duo between him and Joel is going to get you buckets.
Yeah.
The defense, that's what you're losing.
And for what bothers me is the Sixers turned down a Ben Simmons for James Harden trade.
Unbelievable.
How do you do that?
Unbelievable.
How do you have a scoring champion MVP in your fingertips to play a pick and roll with Joel Embiid,
Oh my
and you
gosh.
keep the wrong lefty. You
Dude.
keep the wrong lefty.
I don't see how anybody says no to James Harden ever. I've always been high on James Harden, even with the way he
That's-
plays.
And it can't be a problem with Daryl Morey because we saw what Daryl Morey did in Houston.
Mm-hmm.
It has to be something with Ben Simmons mentally, as B, the doctors, they did something wrong.
100%.
C, someone is telling him that he is doing just fine, and that is not true.
I think it's been C this whole time because they're thinking, okay, it's our year now. Now it's our year, so it doesn't matter. And now they're realizing, shoot, it was our year, and all these other teams said, hey, it's not. It's not our year. So, I mean, that's on them. I think it just finally bit him in the butt.
I think that the Sixers, again, are in a tough situation where they spend a number 1 pick on a dude who hasn't developed a bit.
Yeah. I think that's on them. I think they 100% had the chance to develop him. I think if they started it from the beginning, he'd be a good 3-point shooter.
Yeah.
So, let's see what else can we see about them. What else can they trade for, Parker? Let's see. They're gonna need a point guard with some kind of defense. DeJounte Murray. I know he's coming off an injury.
I doubt the Spurs give him up.
I saw a report that said Greg Popovich would trade anybody on his roster for.
I take that back. DeJounte Murray. I forgot about that.
Bro, I'm telling you, dog, because Ben Simmons is such a Spurs player. That's what Parker said. And that's so true. And DeJounte Murray's a great defender. Didn't he just come off an injury?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
I want to say the previous season.
Yeah. DeJounte Murray, he's a good enough scorer. I think they might go down this season, but I think they do better in the playoffs.
Yeah.
I think they do so much better in the playoffs.
Now, I do not think that Ben Simmons makes the Spurs a playoff team.
No.
Again.
No. I think he'd do the same thing. They'd be a 8 to 10 seed. I'm looking at other teams.
It's just there's not a lot of players that you trade and
See-
you look at as you win the trade for either team.
Maybe we go in a whole different direction. We trade Ben Simmons for another team need, and you offer a huge contract to Lonzo Ball. They could go get a
If you get rid of Ben Simmons' contract, which royally overpaid and paid too quickly.
Yeah.
he's getting 29, 31, 33, 36, 38. So let's see.
So Elton Brand gave contracts out the wazoo to Tobias. He gave a 5-year 180.
Tobias Harris is getting 33. At one point, he'll get $40 million in 2023.
Tobias Harris is not a $40 million.
He's
player.
not a $40 million player. That's exactly right.
I mean, for what he is for the Sixers, when you look at it, he is their ball handler.
Yeah.
He is their offense. So
because Ben Simmons, although he passes the ball,
when
I've seen better
in
half-court
retrospect, when you look at you have Ben Simmons and you didn't have Seth Curry yet, and you have Tobias Harris, and you're getting rid of Jimmy Butler, and you have Joel Embiid, you look at Tobias Harris, and he's probably like, give me this contract or I leave.
Yeah, I mean,
And
I guess that's understandable. I guess you could trade Ben Simmons. I don't know what point guards, but if you want to trade for more of a aspect of getting more role players in depth, and then you go sign a very good point guard, you could do that. I guess they could go after.
I bet Ben Simmons could get you the second pick in the draft.
What do you think about Kemba Walker? Thunder said they're going to try to flip him like they did Chris Paul. I'm not big
on it, but
at all. But then again, I'm not big on Ben Simmons right now. I love Ben Simmons. I was a supporter of him, but he ain't doing good. Kemba Walker and Joel
Kemba
Embiid.
Walker will shoot the ball.
I think it would be very.
He'll shoot the ball and he will space the floor, and
He won't facilitate though.
he won't facilitate.
You'll
he
lose
will
that
not
playmaking and the defense.
Yeah.
And in that situation,
But did Ben
you're
Simmons
stuck. You're
really-
stuck with 20 Joel Embiid post ups.
Hold up. If you watch the
15.
76ers play, Ben Simmons did not facilitate. The man dribbled the ball up the floor, passed it off, went and stood there. His assist, come on, fast break, easy man, everybody sees it. Exactly. So you don't really need Ben Simmons right there. And then who was the player I just said? Kemba Walker. He'd be the scoring that they finally need, because I think he'll have a better year this year.
I think if
Getting
you're,
out of
go-
the Celtics
if you're going to
season.
do something like that, you take the CJ McCollum trade. CJ McCollum, younger than Kemba. I
That's
think
true.
maybe younger than Kemba.
That's true. Very true.
Better knees than Kemba, better ankles than Kemba.
I mean, I like the CJ trade. It gives, and then
For both teams, I like it.
And here's the thing: I think the 76ers get more out of it. I think they'll be able to get also. Where's the Trailblazers? They'd get CJ because that matches up on contracts. I feel like they'd ask for maybe like a
Nasir Little,
Nasir Little, maybe a Derrick Jones.
probably a Derrick Jones.
A Derrick Jones Jr. Exactly. You could do something like that, and then maybe like a second round pick.
Yeah.
And then for Ben Simmons, which to me that's fair, because CJ McCollum, he's not on Ben Simmons' level. I know
No.
Ben Simmons hasn't been playing good.
But I just think that
Okay.
Ben Simmons' time in Philly is over.
Before this season, Ben Simmons could get so much on the trade. That playoffs hurt his trade values. There are so many.
And that's
big
why
teams-
I think it was a legit straight up Ben Simmons for James Harden.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
It was a straight
That's
up.
how high people were on that man, and now all of a sudden they're like, "Oh no, he's never." It's just a bad. It was a bad playoff run, is what it was.
Yeah.
So I guess you pull the CJ McCollum trade. You have, I guess, your point guard, if you want to call him that. You have that. You have your shooting now. You have your spacing. You have no Ben Simmons, and then if you're Portland, you go Damian Lillard. As of right now, Norman Powell. I'd put Ben Simmons at the 4, Yusuf Nurkic, and you try to trade for a big man or sign one.
What about Gary Trent Jr.? Is he still?
He's in
Gary
Toronto.
Trent.
He's in Toronto. That's
Yeah, that man is in Toronto.
We don't talk about Toronto. They're
They're-
not a playoff team.
Yeah.
Sorry, Toronto.
There's a lot of directions the Sixers can go in, but I think really the only one that works is getting rid of Ben Simmons.
Imagine shocker. Shocks everybody. Chris Paul signs with the 76ers. They trade Ben Simmons for like role
CJ.
players. For CJ. Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness.
Now I can see it, but why does Chris Paul leave Devin Booker?
Yeah.
He won't. That won't
It's-
happen. I've
one of
always
those
wanted
things.
Chris Paul to go to the Bucks. Him and
He
Giannis.
wasn't he?
Yeah, something
was
like that.
close.
He was close. He was very close.
Which I would have loved to see.
Yeah.
Him and Giannis.
That would have been
oh my
That pick and
goodness.
roll.
That'd have been a championship team.
Baby. Oh my gosh.
All right. I can't think of any other players.
I think we've said our piece on the Sixers, and I think for this episode we've gone through all 8, and the 8 playoff teams that are there right now, personally in my opinion, might be the 8 playoff teams next year.
Yeah, I believe.
When you look at it, you could take the Wizards out, put
maybe
the
the
Raptors
Raptors.
in.
Yeah. Exactly. Raptors get back in.
I don't know how much better LaMelo gets in the
I was
offseason.
just about to say the Hornets.
But
we'll see.
well, that's neither here nor there. We'll talk about them in future episodes.
Yep.
The 14 non-playoff teams. But this has been episode 2 of the Catching Fire podcast. Again, I'm Cameron,
I'm Travis.
I'm Parker.
and again, like I said, in episodes 3 and 4, we'll talk about the 7 Western Conference non-playoff teams and the 7 Eastern non-playoff teams. But yeah, thank y'all for listening. We'll catch y'all next time. I'll just edit this out, but.
Be like flight. I'm gonna edit this out.